The US Fed has just made its first ever rate cut in the last 4 years, sending Bitcoin to higher prices. We've also got the gold rush kicking off on Cardano with a recent partnership between Emurgo and Kinka Gold to bring tokenized gold directly to the blockchain. In addition, we've got Charles Hoskinson meeting up with Javier Milei to discuss CBDCs, and we've also just got some breaking alpha about the Night token airdrop taking place for over 135 million wallet addresses. As a part of today's video, I want to talk about the macro market in addition to all of the growth and all the building going on in the Cardano ecosystem. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're taking a look at the macro crypto markets in addition to all the updates going on in Cardano. First things first, we have to highlight the Fed recently giving us our first rate cut in the last 4 years and exactly what this means for the general crypto market, including Bitcoin potentially heading towards a new all-time high. I also want to take a look at the fact that BlackRock is officially on board, now promoting crypto and, to be specific, the Bitcoin spot ETF. Now, after that, I want to highlight some mainstream influencers who are now appearing more and more at crypto conferences. And then moving over, there's a huge gold rush opportunity here with Emurgo partnering up with a brand new platform to bring tokenized gold straight to Cardano. In addition, we've got updates from World Mobile in their upcoming release of the WMTX token migration. And then last but not least, I want to highlight Midnight, and I want to talk about some recent alpha about the Midnight airdrop and exactly what we can expect for the Night token, which has been confirmed that it will be a Cardano native asset. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing here within this crazy and ever-evolving crypto space here. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to smash that thumbs up on the way in. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more of it, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Now, jumping straight on in here, moving forward, I'll be covering more of the general macro markets. And so if you've missed it, within the US, we have the Fed announcing their first ever rate cut in the last 4 years. The last time that we had a rate cut was around the same time that the COVID lockdowns were happening. And so as you could imagine, a lot of people not able to work. Therefore, we needed a little bit of assistance and a little bit of relief from the federal government. Since then, inflation has been through the roof, and we're now finally about to get that under control. And so here it states, and this is from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, we've concluded that this was the right thing for the economy for us to do and for the people that we serve, right? And this was in reference to that particular rate cut. Now, what does this actually mean for crypto and Bitcoin? Taking a look here at the official Bitcoin price. Bitcoin is now breaking 63,500, and we're just about to break a local top, which is at around $64,000 to $65,000. Now, we've been trading sideways for the last 6 to 7 months, consolidating around this lower 50s all the way to like the $70,000 Bitcoin range. And as soon as we can actually break past $70,000, I think we're going to see an immediate rush, and we're going to see a quick appreciation of Bitcoin. Now, you might be asking, why would I actually say this? Well, taking a look, we have a historic amount of short liquidations taking place if Bitcoin can crack the 70,500 level. So it states here over 21.77 billion in Bitcoin shorts will be liquidated once you're able to break past that level. To put this into perspective, this is historical. We've seen pretty big liquidations. For example, when Bitcoin had actually flushed all the way down to about $52,000 to $53,000, we saw nearly $1 billion worth of liquidations happening. And so we're going to see the opposite for anybody who's betting right against Bitcoin going up in value. And what this basically ends up in is a short squeeze. So once we're able to hit this particular level, again, 70,500, we're going to see a lot of shorts having to close their positions. And in order for them to do that, they basically have to buy back in on the market. And so for anybody who isn't a trader, it might sound a little counterintuitive, but if we're able to hit this particular price point, a lot of shorts will be liquidated, therefore forcing them to actually buy back in order to close their position. And so what this basically means is even more fuel, right? And even more green candles for the Bitcoin asset price. And so this is going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. But once we do get to this particular price level, definitely be on the lookout for what's also known as a short squeeze, where we see really quick appreciation of the Bitcoin price. Now, taking a look here at the liquidity heat map, again, we can see this really bright golden area. This is where there's a lot of that short liquidity. And then conversely, we had a lot of long liquidity, which was right below around that $50,000 range. And what's crazy is right where my mouse is, we can see that liquidation wick that basically came down and liquidated a lot of long. So people that were betting for the price of Bitcoin to go up had to close their positions at this particular range. And they basically had to sell their Bitcoin. So this was advantageous to the short sellers. And as Bitcoin now goes in the opposite direction, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming up against the bears. So not really where you want to be right now. Now, continuing on here with the macro markets, we have BlackRock, who's now officially pushing Bitcoin as a unique diversifier. It's crazy how quickly these big companies have changed their mind in the last year alone. Again, you take a look at the SEC, take a look at them suing Kraken, Binance, Coinbase, and them making a lot of noise to really take away from Bitcoin. And then in a matter of just a couple of months, we saw the official release of the Bitcoin spot ETF, bringing on board some of the biggest names. And then most notably, or most recently, the launch of the Ethereum spot ETF. So the ball has definitely turned tides. And taking a look here, there's a fully dedicated PDF or article breakdown of why BlackRock thinks that Bitcoin and crypto are the future and why it's a really good way to diversify right now against the ever-failing fiat system. So they talk about the fact that the supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million units. They also talk about the near instantaneous global transfers of value. And then they talk about the fact that this is the first truly open and accessible global monetary system. This is extremely bullish here, taking a look at the long-term picture. And with an entity as big as BlackRock that holds millions, if not billions, right, in terms of assets, the fact that they're pushing this is really, really positive. And so just want to quickly start off here by breaking down the fact that we're seeing more and more adoption when it comes to mainstream picking up on Bitcoin. In addition, we've got presidential candidate Donald Trump making a purchase using Bitcoin. Now, this is not the only thing, and I'm going to just play this real quick. I'm going to mute this, but he's at this bar. He's making a purchase for Bitcoin, but he's also launched his own NFT collection. If you're not aware, this was launched about a year ago. Now, just earlier this week too, Donald Trump has officially launched his own DeFi platform. So Donald is really, really backing the crypto community here. And he's been very vocal. One of the first things that he plans to do is to fire the SEC's chairman, Gary Gensler, if elected into office. Now, granted, a lot of this is campaigning, and so really pandering to different crowds in order to get their votes. So I'm not sure if he's actually going to follow through on that. But the fact that he's touting Bitcoin, talking more about it, and even using Bitcoin is really, really bullish again. So I did want to highlight that bit of news here as well. Now, moving over, we've got a upcoming meeting between Javier Milei and Charles Hoskinson. I've highlighted this in a prior video. I'll leave the link to that down below. But one piece that stood out to me here in this recent article recapping the fact that Charles Hoskinson will be meeting Javier Milei in the middle of October at the Argentinian Tech Forum is his conversation about CBDCs. So it reads here, Charles Hoskinson said that he would also raise questions about the values and needs of Argentina in the context of technology and asking about whether or not the country should create a central bank digital currency, also known as a CBDC, and what kind of partners it has to rebuild its economy. Now, if it's looking to build a CBDC, I'm not sure exactly who they'll be going with. Obviously, we have big stablecoin issuers or minters like USDT, USDC, or Circle and Tether. But we also have the adoption of Cardano taking a quick rise in Argentina. So there's a lot of upcoming events there. We've already seen a couple events taking place there. We've also seen IOG spending a lot of time in Argentina. And if Charles is going to be talking with the president, there's definitely an opportunity for him to pitch a Cardano-based, or at least a Cardano-issued CBDC. Now, this won't happen overnight. This will be something that maybe takes years to come to fruition. But the fact that he's even got access to Javier Milei, the fact that Javier Milei is willing to listen to him and potentially adopt Cardano is extremely bullish news there as well. Moving over, as we get ready to close things out here, I want to quickly play a video where we now have mainstream influencers, including the likes of Iggy Azalea, who are now attending crypto conferences just like Token 2049 taking place in Singapore. So again, this makes me really bullish. Not only do we have the Fed rate cuts, we've got BlackRock pushing crypto and Bitcoin. We've also got the record liquidations potentially taking place once we hit that 70,000 mark. And then we also even have mainstream influencers now really diving deep into this space. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. Let me know if you guys also appreciate this type of news. Again, I plan to just cover, some of the macro updates. And if you guys do want more of this, I'll make sure to include this in all of my future updates. Now let's talk specifically about Cardano. So we've got some breaking news here with a gold rush, with an announcement between Emurgo partnering up with Kinka. I mean, I at this point am struggling to keep up with all of the updates and announcements for partnerships that are coming out about Emurgo, but this is just the latest one. So it states, Emurgo is pleased to partner with Kinka Gold, a subsidiary of Unbanked Incorporated, a publicly listed neo-finance service company in Japan, to provide the technology behind the issuance of their gold-backed tokens on Cardano. Now, each gold token will be backed and it'll represent 1 ounce of premium Japanese gold, which meets all LBMA, which stands for London Bullion Market Association standards. And this gold will be designated to be used on the Osaka exchange, and it'll also be held securely in bankruptcy remote vaults worldwide. This means that in the event that there is some sort of bankruptcy that takes place by the unbanked incorporation or by the unbanked company, that this gold will not be up for grabs in order to pay the debt back. So really positive to hear. Now, there is a full dedicated article here breaking down the XNK token and the fact that each one of them will be representative of an ounce of gold. And if you're not familiar with that right now, an ounce of gold is going for about $2,500. Now, one thing that I would love to see here would be fractionalization options to where anybody could maybe purchase a smaller amount. But for the time being, we'll take this. I mean, anything that we can get right now to bring more liquidity, more eyeballs, and more reputation to Cardano, I think is a plus. So I'll leave the link to this particular website down below as always if you guys want to check this out. But it breaks down the process, the methodology, and exactly what some of the benefits are bringing this type of investment vehicle directly to the Cardano network. Now, before I move over, I do also want to quickly highlight the fact that there is a gold rush going on right now in Cardano. If you've missed it, we've also got the Finest Investments platform bringing the first ever gold token sale to Cardano. And then we also have Twin, who's bringing commodities, including precious metals as gold, silver, and palladium to the Cardano ecosystem. So real world assets are a thing. They're about to be, I think, the next big wave. And then we also even have OneChain, which has recently introduced the Tether Gold token as a bridgeable asset into Cardano. So we already have the big players like Tether, who's now jumping into gold. And then again, we have Finest, Twin, and then now Kinka Gold coming straight into Cardano. Again, let me know how bullish this is and if you'll be participating or diving into some of these gold-backed or these gold-pegged asset purchases. Moving over, we have updates surrounding World Mobile. But before I jump into those, as always, if you guys are enjoying updates like these, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up if it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more. Consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. Now, I am also a single stake pool operator. So if you want to extend your support here for me and the educational content here on the channel, consider delegating with the official Dapp Central Stake Pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Now, jumping into updates for World Mobile, this particular team is also attending Token 2049. I mean, this is by far one of the biggest events outside of the United States, and I definitely look forward to hopefully being able to attend in 2026. But the team is on the ground trying to make connections and trying to onboard the masses. Shout out to David here from HopeNotHype.io, who's posted some World Mobile Network stats here, breaking down the fact that their network has grown 25% over the course of the last 7 days. It's grown 900% in the last 30 days. And then it's grown over 500% or nearly 500% in the last 90 days. So we're starting to see more consumption across the entire network. And if you do want more information about the growth of the network, you can head over to WMT Scan, and we should be able to quickly see exactly how many air nodes are deployed, which right now we've got over 2,000. We can see 63 terabytes of data consumed in the last 24 hours with nearly 100,000 users and over 868 days of uptime without any kinks or issues. Definitely keep an eye on World Mobile. I think this is going to be a huge contender here in the future, and then it'll be a leader, in my opinion, when it comes to the entire DePIN space. Now, moving straight into the next bit of news here, we have their Earth Node NFTs, which allow for the processing of data on their AYA network, officially hitting an all-time high when it comes to a floor price. This is by far the most expensive NFT on Cardano, and this I think has the ability to rival some of the bigger NFT collections outside of the Cardano ecosystem. So at one point, the floor was at about 200,000 ADA. Right now, it's at about 154. But there's only 4 of these available. Keep in mind, there's only 1,000, and right now only 4 available on the open market. This is well ahead of the official mainnet launch of the AYA network, which is exactly how you can actually use NFTs in order to operate the Earth node, which again allows for you to tap into WMT rewards and then also provide security for the World Mobile AYA chain. Moving over, we have the official release of WMTX taking place on the 30th of September, or the 30th of this month, which is just about 10 to 11 days from the time that I'm shooting this video. Now, keep in mind that WMTX will be swappable 1-for-1 using their migration portal or their migration bridge. And so if you hold WMT and you want to upgrade to WMTX, as soon as the 30th comes out, the team will have on official channels all the ways, or all of the official ways, that you can actually go ahead and transfer into the new token. Keep in mind that liquidity may be thin early on, so you may not necessarily want to be making big swaps in and out of WMTX, but you'll at least be able to get a 1-to-1 claim of how much ever WMT you currently hold converted or migrated into WMTX. Of course, this will be an opportunity for scammers as well, so do be careful. But if you want more information about WMTX, just the entire World Mobile ecosystem, make sure to tune in this Saturday. I'll be sitting down with Rob LLAP and then Cal from Clover Notes to break down everything that we know so far and everything that we can expect as it pertains to the entire World Mobile project. Now, moving over to the next bit of news that I have here, I want to give a huge shout out to Cal from Clover Notes, a fellow stake pool operator here, breaking over 20 million ADA delegated to his stake pool. I want to give you guys the opportunity to show some support. So he's been heavily involved in the World Mobile community. He's been promoting it. He's been working with the World Mobile Alliance, providing Twitter Spaces, joining me on my channel for live streams. And I want to return the favor here. So if you guys have a couple of minutes, please take some time, to head over to the official Palm ISPO website or the official Palm Economy website. I'll leave the link to it down below. But Palmyra is launching their second version of their ISPO, dubbed ISPO V2. So they're bringing on 3 community members to go ahead and act as partner pools, with Clover in his pool being eligible. It literally takes about 30 seconds to fill this out. You have to select 3 different members. So you can quickly select, for example, Clover, A3C, and Malu. And then from here, you can click on OK. And then you can enter your Cardano wallet address. That's literally how quick and how easy this can be done. So again, please make sure to go ahead and show Clover Notes some love here. He's been heavily involved in the Cardano community, specifically with World Mobile, providing a ton of content, a ton of alpha, and just being super supportive, right? So I did want to quickly highlight and mention that there. Now, as we get ready to close things out, I have to highlight some pretty big alpha here when it comes to the Midnight Network. So I recently mentioned the fact that Midnight has officially released their night paper or their light paper. I broke this down in about a 20-minute video. I'll leave the link to it down as always. But we have Charles Hoskinson speaking about the token airdrop, which will be for the Night token, which will be a Cardano native asset. So without any further ado, let's listen into what Charles has to say about the upcoming airdrop. And then I want to also jump into a brief snippet that was released by Aran Barak, the leader of the Midnight Network in terms of development. And then I want to highlight exactly what this could mean and how you in the community can participate and potentially earn the Night token. So without any further ado, let's listen into Charles Hoskinson.
Question of incentives and distribution. Ordinarily, I've been in space so long, I kind of know all the dirty tricks. What you do is you go to a VC, they give you a bunch of money, they get founder tokens, and then they dump on retail when the network launches. You know who you are. You do. And they make great money. And then the ecosystem collapses, and the next thing goes, the next thing goes, the next thing goes. That's not how we get ahead. So instead, here's what we do. Do something called a glacier drop. So you take 135 million accounts across all the major cryptocurrencies, you just airdrop to them. And if people want it, they mine it. In the process of mining it, they launch the network. So that's how you get a fair distribution, right? Everybody gets it. Everybody has it. And here's the other beautiful part about that. In the process of doing this, we invented a new protocol called Minotaur. We wrote it with Shireen, who went on to create Eigenlayer with the technology. We created Midnight with it. And it's called Minotaur, and it's multi-resource consensus. What's so magical and special about multi-resource consensus is it allows you to maintain a blockchain with multiple consensus protocols at the same time. You go talk to the Bitcoin maxis and they say, proof of work. You go talk to us in the third generation, we say, proof of stake. But you know what? You gotta get your peanut butter and jelly together. So why can't we hybridize things and bring all the consensus protocols together? And guess what? If you have the validators maintaining a state of the system together, you can pay block rewards to them. So you start looking like a layer 2 to everybody.
So that'll do it there. The key takeaway being the glacier drop, going to over 135 million wallet addresses. And I want to highlight exactly what networks that could definitely cover. In addition, he talked about Minotaur, which aims to allow for multi-consensus support. So imagine running a node that can back proof of stake networks like Cardano, but then also back proof of work networks like Bitcoin, really bringing the best of both worlds together. Now, the next bit of news that I want to play here, again, touches on the Midnight Airdrop. Now, this is coming in from Aran Barak, who's the CEO of the Midnight Network. So let's quickly listen in, and this one is a lot quicker.
I'll add one more thing. A lot of people think about, tokens as some sort of a game or a play where the investors or the insiders get the inside track. That's not going to be the case here. Midnight is all about the community. Our token distribution will include 100% of the supply will be given out to the community and have an opportunity for them to come and participate. So we look forward to seeing the community step up and take part and become part of the story.
There you have it. 100% of the supply for the Night token will be distributed amongst the community. Now, again, this won't just be an airdrop where you're just given tokens and then you can just go dump them on the open market. Based off of what Charles has mentioned, he's talked about the need for activity, the need to actually mine in order to claim those tokens. So in order to actually get the value of the Night token, you'll have to support the Midnight network. So this is an interesting opportunity to sort of launch tokens. Historically, it hasn't been this way. It's always been give the money or get early investment money from VCs. They get an early token allocation or at a lower allocation price. And then there's a secondary sale or public sale that happens for retail, where that offers the opportunity for those early insiders or those VCs to be able to dump on retail. So Charles trying to break that sort of cycle and really giving an opportunity for anybody who wants to back Midnight the opportunity to do so with little to no risk and with the intention or with the knowledge that there's not going to be anybody else holding a bag over your head. And so really, really positive and very reassuring to hear. Jumping into this next bit here, shout out to Stake with Pride, always putting out so much on awesome and solid information. We have the estimated number of wallets per chain. So taking a look, we have Bitcoin, ETH, BSC or the Binance Smart Chain, Solana, Cardano, Tron, etc. All of this gives us a total amount of 135 million. So does this mean that the Midnight airdrop will be going to all these other blockchains? It appears as so. And keep in mind that, anybody who is able to operate a node once Minotaur comes out will be able to support a partner chain. So Midnight is just the first example of a partner chain, but there's many other partner chains and many other use cases for the partner chain framework. And right now, there's going to be an initial exclusivity for Cardano node operators or for Cardano SPOs to support the Midnight network. Now, after Minotaur comes about and there's support for multi-resource consensus, then you could definitely imagine that people that maybe operate nodes that are proof of work based could also be incorporated into the partner chain model. Now, as I get ready to close out, again, a nice little piece here by Stake with Pride. We have the fact that the Midnight team will be working hand in hand with the Lace team to develop and deploy a Lace-based Chrome extension. And thinking about how this particular Glacier drop approach could work with this airdrop, imagine, for example, being somebody who's on Bitcoin or who supports the Bitcoin ecosystem, and then having the ability to receive within your wallet some of these Night tokens. But then all that you have to do is actually jump in, download potentially the Lace extension for Midnight, and then from there being able to use computational resources, for example, like your laptop or your desktop device, in order to actually mine and support the Midnight network. Now, to be fully frank here, this is all speculation. So there's been no official documentation about this just yet. But the team from Midnight, including Airdrop, have mentioned that they will be releasing tokenomics very soon. And again, as a quick plug to my last video, make sure to check that out if you want to find out more about how the Midnight network works. That'll do it here for today's update, breaking down the recent Fed rate cut. We've also talked about Kinka Gold coming onto Cardano as well as World Mobile. Make sure to support Clover nodes. And then last but not least, some alpha about the Midnight network and what we know so far about the Glacier drop for the Midnight token or the Night token, which would be a Cardano native asset. That'll do it here for today's update. As always, if you find any portion of this to be helpful, please make sure to smash that thumbs up if it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more content like this. Consider subscribing to Dapp Central. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.